I guess that sort of brings us to point 2, choosing a strong trademark. I'll just forward a slide while we're at it.
Yep.
Because Nike did such an amazing job at choosing distinctive trademarks. There were, at least the word Nike is unique. It hasn't appeared before in relation to the products that they are providing. I believe it's an invented word, but I might be wrong there.
Oh, Nike, the goddess.
Yeah.
I think goddess of victory.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Yeah, but never used in relation to shoes and apparel before. That's sometimes you can have a unique, it might be something that's synonymous out there in the market, but or it's something that's not commonly used, but it's out there, but just not in relation to the goods or services that you're selling. That maybe just, oh wow, that's I would never have thought to associate those two, which means you've got a higher chance of success of getting a registered trademark if you're using a name, even if it's not technically unique, but it's unique over the goods and services that you want to claim for. Like something like your local plumber, like that's going to be that's going to be tough, if you're going to be just asking for plumbing services, if not impossible.
I know, but unfortunately, it does happen a lot. I mean, it's appealing to choose a trademark, especially as a startup business, or for many kinds of businesses, it seems very appealing to choose a trademark that just describes exactly what you provide, what kind of products you issue, or what kind of services you're providing. But then when it comes down to protecting your brand and being distinctive, being able to set your business apart from those of your competitors, that's where a descriptive trademark has its downsides. And especially once you're growing your business, it really becomes so relevant to be able to invest in your brand without having to deal with that many other people using the same or similar type of brand. Unfortunately, that comes with a few downsides. So yeah, having an invented or a known word that's used in an unusual way, any type of unique trademark that is easy for people to remember and to relate to the business that you're conducting. That's of course all very good elements about choosing a strong brand, and definitely on our do list.
Google's a great example of that, right? I mean, and that's definitely. If you're looking for world domination, you really need to come up with so novel and unique that that no one has it before, and then go after it.
And keeping that trademark as a unique mark comes with its difficulties too when you grow like Google. We've done a feature on that on our website, I'm pretty sure, about how a trademark can become generic. So having a unique trademark and make sure you continue using it and educating your customers to use it as a trademark. It's a very niche business to make sure that your trademark actually keeps that unique effect on consumers once you grow that big as Google. But yeah, that's for another time.
The more you use it, the better, right? So using it on all your materials, like for instance, we're using it right now on the top right-hand corner of the lecture slides.
Yeah.
Like anything that you put out there that you're marketing to people, that's all important to make sure you've got all these brand assets that you use a lot and can show trademark examiners if you ever need to provide evidence of use later. If they've got an issue with it, you need to overcome some objections with lots of evidence of use over an extensive period of time. Then you can show them, hey, this is us using our branding at this event. This is us using our branding on these presentations and this and anything where this email went out to our thousands of people on a database with a branding and logo on it, or the tagline that you're looking at trying to register. So the more the merrier.
The bigger your outreach is. Yeah,
your Facebook page and all your social media handles, using these trademarks a lot. We're probably skipping ahead here. Yep.
Oh, it's difficult not to. But yeah, we should probably go ahead for the next one. Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
three-letter acronyms. Three-letter acronyms is definitely one that the that IB Australia has had some issues with TLAs.
yeah, they pick on it. They pick up on it quite easily nowadays. That as soon as something becomes generic in a marketplace as an acronym, or has a formal meaning, I guess, it will be difficult to trademark a three-letter acronym. Well, if it's a 5 or 6-letter one, it might be a lot easier. It depends on the situation.
It's not completely out, but just like
No, it might just prove a little more difficult.
Yeah, and same with you know, even some of these, you know, with I mean, it's best to have a strong trademark, but it doesn't prevent us from giving it a go with, and maybe even in conjunction with other, you know, to make a composite type logo with lots of stylistic elements, to at least get them some protection for the trademark, even if we can't get the words just quite yet, and they might need 10 years in the market, 15, 20 years ultimately if they're going all guns blazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't use anything with Apple in it, because you'll get a letter from Baker and McKenzie. Even, you know, anything at all. Same with Red Bull, same with Toyota, any of these really large companies. Ford is another example. They're very, very, very robust in their prosecution of the trademarks. They really want to make that anytime someone, you know, registers trademarks for these types of for these businesses, like here's another example with Style Kia. You know, they'll pick up on them, and they'll make sure they'll make the investigations first, and you know, you'll have to justify why they shouldn't oppose you, and you know, they're very proactive in terms of their enforcement of their trademarks, because they're very protective over their brands.
Yeah, which goes hand in hand with growing your trademark reputation, and you know, having that ability to distinguish your brand from those of others. Part of growing that reputation is, of course, by making sure no one else is diluting your brand reputation in a marketplace.
Like that's slide 10.
Yeah,
register
true. Well,
registering your
number
trademarks. That's a really important step.
Yeah, and it's one that most don't realize is important at the beginning, and it might only be clear to them that they need to register their brand once they run into an issue with someone else starting up a similar business under a similar name, and by that time they realize that it would have been handy to have those trademark rights already. Of course, then we can still start that process and see what options there are. But at the end, registering your trademarks at the beginning, or as soon as you're aware of the strength of having registered trademarks, is always a great idea.
I think the main thrust of it is, when would now be a good time, you know? So our sort of advice constantly from you know, to clients is, as soon as you're settled on that name, as soon as you're settled on that trademark, on that logo, as soon as you're settled on that tagline or hashtag or whatever it might be that is really novel and unique, and think about it from this perspective: would you care if someone came along tomorrow and started, you know, and use the same name, or use the same or similar logo, or use some part of your name that was too close for comfort, that was